impressive performances at regionals and special events we've had in Oceania since.
Oh, and here we go. You have the Pikachu and Zekrom deck on the left from Kenneth here, and we see the combo in Henry's deck in the prizes right now.
Wow, okay.
His deck is focused around Mewtwo and Mew GX, but it uses Solgaleo GX with that Soul Burst GX to charge up all your Pokemon. It's 1 metal, search your deck for 5 energy, not basic energy, just energy.
Yeah.
And then put them on your Pokemon any way you like.
I guess that's why we saw things like Rainbow Energy, and I think there was Weakness Energy in the prizes there. So really interesting Mewtwo build that we're seeing here. So Henry starts off with that Indeedee, possibly the only non-GX Pokemon that he's playing in the deck. We'll have to wait and see. And he's going to grab a Quick Ball, discarding Prism Star Pokemon, Xerneas. Not something I've seen in competitive play.
Yeah, so
recently.
It's seen kind of some play in the Gardevoir and Sylveon tag team decks as kind of a non-GX attacker. But its ability, it's the same ability as Heatran GX, if you've seen that from previously on, where if you bring it to the active spot, you actually get to move any number of energy to it, and then it does 160 for, I believe, 3 energy, which is pretty insane on just a single prize attacker.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible. So Henry here, he's getting down his Wobbuffet, recognizing the importance of Tapu Koko Prism Star in that Pikachu and Zekrom GX deck, really requiring that to power up your Pikachu and Zekrom GX on the first turn of the game. But it looks like that's all he's going to be playing, is that Indeedee and a Wobbuffet. A Chaotic Swell as well to counter that Thunder Mountain Prism Star that could be coming down from Kenneth's side of the field.
Yeah, that's
quite a powerful start, actually, really countering the 2 pieces that Kenneth relies on.
For sure. It's the exact 2 cards you want to see in this matchup. Kind of a fail-safe. If one doesn't work, well, the other one's going to get you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can get around one, but...
And one of the ways that Kenneth can actually get around Chaotic Swell is Marshadow from Unbroken Bonds being able to resetting hold, discard the Stadium, and then he can play his Thunder Mountain Prism. But with that Wobbuffet, it's almost for sure going to be no turn 1 full blitz here from Kenneth.
I mean, we could see some kind of really out there combination of you know, catching effects or combined with that Marshadow being able to counter those 2 cards. But I would say that's a really powerful start from Henry, being able to counter those cards straight away on his first turn.
Yeah, and then of course the Indeedee as well puts in a lot of work in this matchup. Its Psychic attack does 10 plus 60 for every energy attached to the opponent's active Pokemon. Well, one thing Pikachu and Zekrom GX is known for is having a ton of energy attached to it.
Yeah, for sure. So that's going to be potential one-hit knockouts from that Indeedee there. The only catch is it can't be copied by Mewtwo and Mew GX, just because it's a V Pokemon. So Mewtwo only copies those GX Pokemon that are on the bench or in the discard pile. So it does have to be the Indeedee that's actually attacking in that case. And
Yeah,
then we see that Marshadow resetting hole coming down onto the side of Kenneth. So it looks like he really does want to play that Thunder Mountain Prism Star this turn.
Yeah, and then of course Indeedee also provides a bunch of utility with its ability to heal 20 damage from your active Pokemon. It's easy way to combat people playing cards like Mimikyu to shut off your Mewtwo and Mew perfection ability.
And so Kenneth now is playing probably one of the most common cards we've seen in this tournament, which is Detonate GX, to get himself a new hand with that Detonate change ability. But then we're just going to see a pass. So it looks like all he was able to get off was an energy attachment onto a Pikachu and Zekrom GX, which is not really ideal. Not really what these kinds of decks are looking for in their first turn. Henry, in response, he's going to be playing a Professor's Research, looking for more cards, trying to set up. And I see a really interesting card underneath that Professor's Research. I think it's an Alolan Raticate GX.
Oh yeah, I love me some Alolan Raticate GX. It's one of the only ways you can actually deal a good amount of damage for free in this format right now. Since it's one of an Alolan Pokemon, they came out with a bunch of these free attacks. And being able to just discard up to 2 cards from your hand, and then you deal 40 for each one you discard for free. So that means he can actually get some good damage down while charging up maybe another Mewtwo and Mew on the bench.
Yeah, it works really well in a deck that actually wants to discard cards and put certain cards in the discard pile. Looks like Henry here has found himself a Mewtwo and Mew GX, so he will be able to start executing his game plan and attacking with that Mewtwo Mew GX, he also was able to get, I believe it was a Solgaleo GX into the discard pile.
Yeah, he assembled the combo. Solgaleo GX gets into the discard with Soul Burst, that GX move, able to just charge up everything Henry would ever want. And having that switch as well, oh man.
Yeah, really good to be able to keep energy in the field, and he's indicating that he's going to be using Soul Burst GX, searching his deck for 5 energy cards. Now, 5 basic energy cards, that sounds powerful. No, this is 5 of any energy card. So he can be getting Aurora energy, Rainbow energy, really anything.
Any number of unit energies,
yeah.
And this is the true toolbox nature of Henry's deck. There's no Welder, there's no Malamar, there's no fire support to charge up like Volcanion or Victini V. This is his energy acceleration, Soul Burst GX, and then he's going to be able to just attack with essentially anything he'll want for the rest of the game.
It looks like he's going to attach a couple of them to the Mewtwo and Mew GX, and a couple to Indeedee V, and one for onto Wobbuffet for good measure.
Well, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket with that Mewtwo and Mew, especially with the threat of Electro Power from Kenneth. He could just take some really quick knockout out of nowhere.
Oh yeah, we've seen that before. We've seen, you know, fresh Station V. I'm sure it's fine. Oh no, here comes the PikaRom, Pikachu and Zekrom GX, just knocking it out in one hit. So I think Kenneth here is going, what's happening in this deck? Let me have a look through this discard pile.
Why are you playing all these cards?
A very, very unusual, very unique Mewtwo build, and I think that's quite exciting to see. So Kenneth here, again, he still has that Chaotic Swell and that Wobbuffet preventing him from being able to use both of the Prism Star cards that he relies on in his deck.
Oh man, but we see double Custom Catcher in Kenneth's hand. He's going to look to bring that Wobbuffet to the active spot. Shady Tail only works when it's on the bench, so that will give him access to Tapu Koko Prism Star if he has it, as well as the resetting hole to get a Thunder Mountain in play.
Yeah, so he had an answer to both of Henry's barriers that he provided. He plays a Volkner. This will net him an energy card and an item card of his choosing.
Yeah, and getting that quick ball. One thing that the Pikachu and Zekrom deck just loved with this set is quick ball, because now you have a consistent way to search out Tapu Koko Prism. It was always the detriment of the deck, like, man, this deck is so good. I can get turn 1 attacks, turn 2 attacks very consistently, but I just need to find the Pokemon communication to get my Tapu Koko Prism. But now you're just like, yeah, I can just discard a card. Yeah,
and Quicker Ball can get you pretty much anything else in your deck as well that you want, you know, in case you already have the Tapu Koko Prism. So excellent inclusion. And looks like here Kenneth is going to use that Dance of the Ancient ability and place 2 energy cards from his discard pile onto Pokemon of his choosing on the bench. But does he have the Thunder Mountain Prism Star? Oh, doesn't need it. This is turn 2. There we go. 3 energy onto the Pikachu and Zekrom GX, and already Kenneth is flying. He's going to be dealing 150 damage and accelerating 3 lightning energy from his deck onto his benched Alolan Raichu, which is actually quite a big threat for Mewtwo.
Yeah, it's one of the best attackers Kenneth has for against big tag team Pokemon. The Lightning Ride GX is probably one of the best GX attacks we've seen outside of Tag Bolt in Lightning.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And where you do 250 damage if you have 5 energy attached. Well, if you have a Thunder Mountain, you only need 4. Yeah. And it's super easy because, you know, there's 4 right there. It's pretty good. And with an Electro Power, you do 280 damage and take really easy knockouts.
Yeah, 250 sounds like a lot, but, you know, you run 4 Electro Power, so you can just bump that up to whatever number you feel to get any knockout on any Pokemon. It looks like Henry here, looking through his deck, we can see a few other really interesting GX Pokemon that he seems to be eyeing and bringing to the top of his deck. Considering something like that Flygon GX, I think.
Yeah, Flygon GX, not really known for being that playable, but I know there's a few people out there that are excited to see it in a 5-in-1 deck here at Oceania.
And Venusaur and Snivy GX as well. We haven't seen that in competitive play for a little while, or at least at the top tables.
Well, so it featured a little bit in some Malamar decks just for that Solar Plant GX, since it deals 50 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon. But in here, it's really going to shine for Shining Vine.
Yes, I see what you did there, Jeremy. Well done, well done. So it looks like Henry also buying into that Dedenne GX strategy and going to use that to refresh his hand and draw an extra 6. Almost feels like he's a little bit on the back foot here, though. He does have a lot of energy in play, and he has a lot of options for GX moves to use, but that Alolan Raichu just seems so oppressive.
Well, here's the great catcher.
And now it's kind of down to Henry. He's got to decide, you know, what attack am I going to be copying? Again, he doesn't have to copy a GX move. Of course, you can only use one per game. He can sort of choose any of the GX, the attacks of the GX Pokemon that he has in the discard pile or on the bench. So quite a lot available to him. He has a lot of different... Looks like he's going for a Blastoise GX.
Oh, man. This is great. So for 2 water energy, you do, I think, 60 times the number of water energy you put back into your hand. So he's choosing, or shuffle into your deck. So Rocket Splash, 60 times, shuffles 5 in, 300 damage. That's a clean KO. Oh, guess what? I still have an energy on my Mewtwo for next turn.
Do you think Kenneth saw that coming? That seems very unusual play.
I don't think anyone saw this deck coming this tournament.
Yeah, pretty impressive. Henry Brand will take, that is 3 prizes off that Alolan Raichu.
Man, that was impressive.
The lead. And that's what happens when you play these GX Pokemon that people haven't thought about for a while or just haven't really considered in the format. They have so many interesting GX moves and interesting attacks that you can just copy.
Yeah, well, if you think about it, Blastoise GX was kind of like, like for its GX attack or even just like as a deck itself. And yeah, it's a good card with Mewtwo and Mew, but there was never really like good water support. You always were playing Welder or Malamar, but now you just have a ton of these special energy in play that count as any single type. And you're like, okay, well, yeah, I get to do what I want and have fun doing it.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a lot of damage. 60 times the number of water energy. It's pretty impressive. Let's see how Kenneth is able to respond here. He puts down another Alolan Raichu. It will be difficult for Henry to pull off a similar kind of attack next turn. He does only have, I believe, 1 energy in play. But as we've seen in his discard pile, there are so many options available to him. Professor's research is going to net Kenneth some more cards in his hand to work with, but are they the right cards that he's looking for?
We see 1 custom catcher already played 2 earlier on to bring that Wobbuffet to the active spot, so only having access to 1 more. Does also have access to a great catcher, though, but it's going to be trouble trying to find some stuff to go on here.
Just a full blitz, and is that only 1 energy in his deck?
Oh, no.
That is rough.
Yeah, well, when you get 4 knocked out of nowhere,
yeah,
it's a little rough.
And that kind of telegraphs to Henry as well that there aren't any more energy, because of course you would attach another one if you had it in your deck.
Henry definitely has to be liking his position this game 1 right here, but he will need to kind of make something happen. A damaged Mewtwo with the only energy he has in play.
And I think that's the only concern I have on Henry's side of the field, is that he only does have that 1 energy card, so he will need to find a way to get more into play. Or perhaps he has some other tricky no energy attack GX Pokemon or attack for 2 GX Pokemon that he can copy. But he does not run any acceleration outside of that Soul Burst GX.
1 access that he has if he draws another energy is Outrage from Reshiram and Charizard GX. That is one of the very few 2 energy attacks that is pretty good in his deck.
Looks like he's going to use Watch Over from Indeedee V first, just to heal a little bit of damage.
Yeah, unfortunately lowering the damage output for Outrage if he chooses for that. Quick Ball here, though, getting him a basic Pokemon from the deck. It's looking like maybe something like Dedenne GX.
A lot of different options available to him.
Yeah, he's going digging. He just shuffled 5 energy back in the deck. You need to get those back.
Dedenne GX will net him an extra 6 cards. He does play it and activate that ability. Hoping to find some energy and maybe some attackers that can attack for 2. I'm sure he has other tricks up his sleeve here.
Well, there's the Rainbow coming down on the bench. Could signal something like a Alolan Raticate GX to attack for free. just because you're trying to rebuild your energy on the board.
And you know, when you have that awareness that Kenneth only has so many energy left in his deck as well, you can kind of take that in consideration when you're trying to figure out which moves to
Yeah, you can
copy.
kind of play a little more like safe.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, well, I'm not really going to get a big like lightning ride next turn outside of something like tag switch.
Or even a tag bolt. It's highly unlikely unless a few energy switch and a Thunder Mountain come into play. Because it looks like we got a switch and we got a fresh Mewtwo coming into the active position. And Dead Change to draw an extra 6 cards. So Henry definitely has seen a lot of his deck this turn.
It's like Guzma and Hala is the choice off of that Dead Change.
We'll grab him a Stadium card, Energy card as well.
And that
tool.
Big Charm.
So that Big Charm's pretty interesting in this matchup. It sort of nullifies an Electro Power in some ways, so it forces your opponent to find a couple more Electro Powers to be able to knock you out, perhaps in 1 hit or 2 hits.
Yeah, and sometimes you see Pikachu and Zekrom play cards like Lysander Lab or stuff like that. Kenneth is not. His only Stadium is actually Thunder Mountain, which is kind of awkward to see a little bit for these decks.
So it looks like Henry's going to be, he is actually copying that Alolan Raticate GX using Chuck Away. So a free energy attack, 40 times the number of cards you discard, up to 2 cards.
It's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, you're attacking for free.
Yeah,
it's always good.
It's been the one drawback, I would say, for Mewtwo and Mew is just there's not a lot of good 1 energy GX Pokemon, or like 1 energy attacks for GX Pokemon. And you kind of have to play around that, at least with the energy types that people are presented with. Alolan Raticate is a really great inclusion to kind of mitigate that problem.
Yeah, and that's often why we just see builds that utilize Welder and then Fire Pokemon, or Malamar and Psychic Pokemon. Whereas when you're using Rainbow Energy or Aurora Energy, you can really play any GX Pokemon. So Kenneth here, remember he is very limited with the number of energy that he can bring into play. He has used Tapu Koko Prism Star's ability already, does not have any more energy left in his deck, but he does have access to Thunder Mountain Prism Star. And perhaps that's what he's looking for here with this Stellar Wish with Jirachi.
For your treat, thanks to the Thunderclap Zone from Zeraora GX. But now he's going to have to look for an out for Switch. He does have Volkner. Oh, and the Switch in hand. Okay.
And
the second Custom Catcher is pretty nice here.
There's a whole lot of nice cards in there, actually. Custom Catcher, I mean, Electro Power to deal a little bit of extra damage. Reset Stamp if you want to disrupt Henry. Stadium Nav if you really want to find that Stadium.
Can he just switch hands? Like, put those 5 in his hand?
if only that's what Stellar Wish read. He's got a whole lot here. I think that was a Quick Ball, getting rid of a Zapdos. Possibly not the best attacker in this format, in this matchup, and Kenneth's recognizing that.
For sure, just thinning out the deck. Kenneth does have essentially an extra bench space because the Marshadow can just resetting Hole and free up, but it's not something you really want to see here. And it's honestly depending on if Kenneth is thinking Professor's Research this turn or the Volkner. But with no energy in the deck, he might need a little bit more help here with the Professor's Research. But one option he could go for is Volkner with Dead Change.
Yeah, just to see extra cards in the...
well, you kind of guarantee one of the items you need.
Exactly.
And then still get to draw stuff. So it could get something like Tag Switch.
He has a lot of options available to him, and I think this might be kind of like a crucial point in the game where he really has to think about what he's trying to achieve. Is he going to just go for a knockout on the Mewtwo and try and clear 1 energy from the board? It's like double Custom Catcher onto Dene GX.
Oh, he's going for the win. All right. It doesn't matter. Either way, it's the win. You just need to knock out this Pokemon and then the Dene GX on the bench. So we're seeing the switch here. We're going to possibly see the Volkner.
So what does he need? Double energy switch?
No, so he needs the one of Tag Switch in his list. He has 1 energy switch as well, but that's not going to be enough since there's no extra energy. So Tag Switch, and then the Dene GX is going to have to find Thunder Mountain
All right, here we go.
No supporter from
There's the tag
Kenneth
switch.
here.
He actually has tag switch.
So tag switch still hasn't played a supporter and drew another Professor's Research here.
What's happening?
Oh.
Kind of issue with drawing the cards?
Yeah, he almost drew an extra card. If he did see it, that would be a double prize penalty here. Granted, I don't think it matters in the scheme of things.
Yeah, if he is attempting to win on this turn.
But man, that is
It
rough
almost
to
appeared
see.
like they caught it in time, but we'll have to let the judge deliberate on that one. But walk us through it. So of the cards that he has drawn, assuming the game state stays the same.
So it depends if the Stadium Nav is still in Kenneth's deck, but he has Volkner in hand, so he can Volkner for the Stadium Nav, hope to hit a heads, get that Thunder Mountain, so it lowers your attack by 1 lightning, and then you tag switch the 2 lightning from the Alolan Raichu GX to the active, and now you have enough energy, thanks to the Thunder Mountain, to tag bolt for 5 prizes off the active Mewtwo and Mew and a Dedenne GX on the bench.
So Kenneth is really counting how many cards do I have in deck? Can I achieve this?
Yeah, there also could just be an option where he thins a little bit more, and then you just Professor's Research draw your entire deck, and you guarantee it.
There we go. Big draw. Got the tag call. Move those 2 energy onto
Here
the
we
Pikachu and
go.
Zekrom GX. He's actually going to go for Professor's Research, drawing
1,
7
2,
cards, and we've got to
3,
see that
4,
Thunder Mountain.
5, 6, 7.
There is
one card left. There it is. Kenneth is able to take 5 prizes in one turn, even shows off with a double Electro Power.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was really cool. That was a great game. Really, really clever of Kenneth to be able to see his outs as well, knowing that he had he didn't have any energy left in his deck.
Yeah.
So he actually had to find those exact cards to move them.
Had to rely on the 2 1-ofs in his deck to pull off that comeback and take 5 prizes and steal the game away from Henry after Henry just demolishing the Raichu with Blastoise GX attack.
Yeah, and I'm pretty glad the last card wasn't Thunder Mountain Prism Star, because that would have been crushing.
Well, so technically he had 2 outs if the Nav was still in the deck.
Oh, of course.
But it's never what you want to see.
I know how you feel about coin flips. I've heard this story.
Nah.
So that's nothing we want to hope for other people, trust me. Wow, what an incredible match. I wonder if Kenneth, I wonder if he has an awareness of Henry's deck, if he's heard people talking about it, heard about the techs, or rather the core components, that Henry's actually playing in his deck. And if he knew that things like that Blastoise GX were coming, I wonder if that was like something that was going on in his head. And then after he saw that attack, I wonder if he thought, oh no, what else does Henry have that he can attack me with?
That's one of kind of the downfall of being one of the only few in the room to bring something to the tournament that no one expects and doing well with it is you kind of have a target on your back, especially, being world champion.
Yeah, the world champion part, I think, adds to that as well.
Looking at the prizes doesn't seem too bad. You also see that Arceus Dialga Palkia in Henry's prizes, he actually goes for 2 options for a GX attack. It's either the Soul Burst GX like we saw game 1, or if it's against a deck that's a 1 prize deck, they go for the Altered Creation GX, and it essentially just wins you the game right there because you just take extra prizes, and you can attack for free with a Alolan Raticate GX. It's really great to see.
Yeah, it's incredible to combine Mewtwo and Mew GX, one of the most powerful cards, with the sort of newest, most powerful card, Arceus Dialga Palkia GX. Those two just seem like incredible synergy. If you can add power to Mewtwo and allow it to take extra prizes, well, that just seems unstoppable.
So Henry's turn 1 was nothing too good. Starts the Detonate GX, attaches the Weakness Guard, and plays the Chaotic Swell. The Swell's the only thing that's kind of saving him here, but it's very easy for Kenneth to deal 160 damage.
Yeah, it just needs to play down that that Marshadow.
Oh, are we going for it?
Is this happening? If you can find enough Electro Powers, this could be
we're going for
an actual knockout from a Zapdos onto a Dedenne. There's another Electro Power. And we also see a supporter that he'll be able to play as well.
Oh, this Volkner seals it. It depends if he Dede changed or... Yeah, so
yeah, I believe he Dede changed.
So Electro Power, Volkner gets another Electro Power, the Lightning Energy in hand or from the Volkner, and that is 170 damage, taking the knockout here, and just like that, Henry, on the cusp of winning Game 1 in the span of the last 5 minutes, has lost the game and the match here.